Maneva say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
Of the people, I beseech us never to lose sight of the fact that Parliament is not only a house of records and law, it is also the house where the hopes, aspirations, anxieties, and frustrations of the people are duly expressed and communicated to the government through questions, motions, debates, and statements. We, as the gatekeepers of democratic governance, must therefore work assiduously to meet the needs and aspirations of the people as we ensure the equitable distribution of national resources. Mr. Speaker, the various occurrences in the sub-region that threaten democratic governance and stability makes it imperative for us to govern accountably with honesty, maturity, patriotism, and national unity. While the country continues to enjoy peace and democratic stability, which is the envy of many, we must, however, acknowledge that our democracy has only matured through tolerance, dialogue, and institutional resilience. It is imperative for us to commend the Ghanaian people for their continued faith in democratic governance and constitutional order whilst working to meet their needs. Recently, the judiciary has come under attack by no less a person than the new Patriotic Party Minority Leader, Honorable Alexander Afenyo. Let me repeat a caution given by this very Minority Leader in this chamber, that when you are not satisfied with a decision of a lower court, you appeal and seek redress in a higher court. In this day and age, we must strive to be consistent because records are kept of whatever you have ever said. I want to assure the judiciary that we on this side of the House have their backs covered. Mr. Speaker, we must equally acknowledge that public confidence and trust in governance is increasingly being measured not by speeches, but rather by tangible improvements in the living conditions of the people we serve. To this end, Ghanaians expect accountability, transparency, and responsive leadership. They expect Parliament to rise above partisan divisions whenever the need arises and rally around the desire to improve their lives and livelihoods.
Come with a certain level of responsibility. And Mr. Speaker, under this administration, our colleague Dominic Ayine has not taken any journalist to court. But under the NPP, the Attorney General dragged Ohini Boama Benny to court and got him jailed by the courts. That is the record of the NPP. The likes of Captain Smart, the likes of Kwabna Bobie Ansa, state-sponsored persecution of journalists is a thing of our past that ended with the abysmal defeat of the NPP and will not happen under the Mahama administration. Mr. Speaker, I am happy that in the statement, the Minority Leader says, and I quote, "We do not dispute the authority of the courts." That's very telling, because just a few days ago, he said he would disrespect a circuit court judge, and he will repeat it and disrespect that judge. I am happy that today he has come to respect the authorities of the court.
Keep his time. Let me recognize Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, you have a reputation of calling people to order when they go outside of the rules. Mr. Speaker, with respect, the colleague is misquoting me for his own convenience. I would want to urge or direct him to withdraw that aspect of the submission. Mr. Speaker, if he wants to refer to a statement I've made, he should read it in full. What he has said is not what I've said. That is my submission to you.
Yes, Honorable Minister, take note, do the needful.
Right Honorable Chair, I paraphrased the comments of the Minority Leader, and he said,
please just do the needful because of the time.
Which is to
he said
what he
that
said.
Was not what he said. He's insisting you read his statement in full.
Right Honorable Speaker,
and reading that statement in full would have taken all your time.
Yes,
so just withdraw and let's make progress.
Right Honorable Speaker, if you ask me to withdraw that, he who alleges must prove. The burden of proof is on him to show that what I have said is not what he said.
Honourable members, let's make progress. The statement that the majority leader is offended is ordered to be expunged from the record. Let's make progress.
Mr. Speaker, again from his statement, he says we are writing the rules for tomorrow. Today's rules were written yesterday. And so let us be clear that everyone has a responsibility. We would respect the rule of law. We would ensure that the rights of citizens are protected under the Mahama administration, but citizens have a responsibility. Mr. Speaker, there can be no explanation of saying that you wish to see the president of the land and his wife killed and said, in fact, the word used was executed, and you tell me that that is freedom of speech. Mr. Speaker, that cannot be freedom of speech. And so our demand to the minority, our demand to the minority, Mr. Speaker, is for them to be circumspect in their choice of words, to call for the execution of the first gentleman of the land and his wife. Mr. Speaker, that is a threat to the president.
Honourable member, your time is up. Your time is up. Yes, Honourable Abujinapo.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to come minority leader, the Honorable Osahin Afenyo Market. Mr. Speaker, let me just say very clearly and strongly that when you listen to the statement read by the minority leader, Mr. Speaker, the minority leader sought to rise above partisanship and put before this House a matter of national concern, which, Mr. Speaker, I will say has been an issue government after government have been seeking to deal with, the issue of press freedom and freedom of speech. Mr. Speaker, again, our friend and brother, the Honorable Minister for Communication, in his classic fashion, chose to travel on the path of partisanship. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest of respect to the Honorable Minister, given that he's the minister responsible for communication, one would have most respectfully expect, Mr. Speaker, that he will approach this subject in a manner that the minority leader did, be non-partisan, and let us interrogate the issue of press freedom and free speech. Mr. Speaker, the examples he gave under President Akufo-Addo are examples that all of us have to continue to interrogate. And the issues that the minority that raised on this floor, which were not too long ago on the 6th of this month, 2026, reported by reputable international media organization Al Jazeera, is a matter that we will continue to deal with. Mr. Speaker, as minister, he will realize that in 2001, President Kufuor took such a bold step. But, Mr. Speaker, you may have a situation where the press is free. The press is free to there's a gulf. It's like day and night between press freedom and freedom of speech. And what the minority leader sought to deal with was freedom of speech. Unfortunately, what our Honorable Minister for Communication went, the tangent he went was press freedom. These are two different things. Mr. Speaker, and freedom of speech is so fundamental. Freedom of speech is so fundamental. Mr. Speaker, I'll give an example where sometime in 2010, President Obama, an American citizen, broadcasted publicly that he was going to ban a holy book, one of the holy books of the major religion in our world, as a sign or a demonstration of freedom of speech. And the consequences would have been catastrophic for American foreign policy and American interests. The president did not have him arrested. The president actually invited him, coaxed him, and persuaded him, Mr. Speaker, not to go on that path of freedom of speech. Mr. Speaker, it's also important for me to make this point. Mr. Speaker, when people infringe on freedom of speech, when they abuse freedom of speech, Mr. Speaker, in many cases, the redress is not to arrest them and take them to the criminal justice system. The redress is when your reputation is injured, and when you feel your reputation is injured, even if you are the president, your redress is to take the civil path of defamation. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude by referencing a portion of the statement
for bringing this issue to the fore, because it gives us the opportunity, first of all, to set the record straight. Mr. Speaker, let me put on record and let me succinctly, without equivocation, without a shred of evidence, that under President Mohammed's administration, there is no threat to freedom of speech, there is no threat to press freedom, and that if you communicate within the ambit of the Constitution, you would have no problem with the Republic, you have no problem with the state agencies. Because I just want to quote one statement. This is Ghana word. Mr. Speaker, young woman arrested for threatening President Mahama. Mr. Speaker, when you threaten the president, even in the most advanced country, even in the most democratic country, it's incumbent on the security agencies to invite you, pick you up, or act in accordance with law. And that is exactly what has been happening. Mr. Speaker, I recall, Honorable E.T. Mensah, a member of parliament, a former minister. He did not threaten the president. He did not threaten the state. All he said was that it has worked. No, that is it. It has worked. In Ghanaian parlance, No, not picking. He was picked. After stating that or it has worked, he was picked up. True or false? Jijote. You recall Jijote? She was arrested under President Kufuor. You recall Koko Anyido? That day when I went to the police headquarters, I was beaten mercilessly. I had to run away. So please don't create this impression as if President Mahama has become president and all of a sudden heaven has broken loose and people are arrested left, right, and center. That is not the case. That is not the case. I side with the minority leader that as parliament, we should encourage press freedom, we should encourage freedom of speech, but freedom of speech is not tantamount to threatening the president.
Please,
I'm not even interested in
stop
insults.
the time for John Jinapo. Yes, minority leader.
Speaker, with respect, the Honorable Minister for Energy and Green Transition is so well respected by this House. Mr. Speaker, for him to go on public record to say that he was beaten mercilessly. Mr. Speaker, no, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, order. Honourable members, order. Yes. Yes, minority leader. Yes, minority leader.
Mr. Speaker, I repeat, Honorable Honorable John Jinapo. Mr. Speaker, Dr. John Jinapo. Mr. Speaker, is a respected member of this House. Mr. Speaker, for him to go on public record to say that, Mr. Speaker, he was mercilessly beaten without, Mr. Speaker, without giving details, Mr. Speaker, without giving such details. Mr. Speaker, now, question. If he was beaten mercilessly, Mr. Speaker, this is a public record and he's a minister of state. We've all been in this chamber. And, Mr. Speaker, I was in this house. He came to meet me. In this house, Mr. Speaker, we never had this matter in this house. Mr. Speaker, two, Mr. Speaker, that the Honorable Samuel Mr. Speaker, that the Honorable Dr. John Jinapo says that he was beaten and he kept quiet, he kept it to himself, and he never reported. There was no medical report. The matter never came to this floor, even as a member of parliament. And Mr. Speaker, today, Mr. Speaker, if he said it on a lighter note, he should indicate so or withdraw. Mr. Speaker, this is Hansa. I will plead with him. This is Hansa. Maybe you can avoid such exaggeration, but Mr. Speaker, I do not think that it's appropriate for a minister of state to say something on public records, the existence of which cannot be verified.
The last 1.5 years of economic management establishes the point that our economy does not lack. Our economy has only suffered from decades of inefficiency, waste, graft, and corruption. I can say with confidence, Mr. Speaker, that in the aftermath of our exit from the IMF program, the takeoff of the 24-hour economy will be accelerated to create the jobs we promised the youth of this country. The Minister of Finance will be in this House shortly to make a statement on the most recent economic developments, and this will give us an opportunity to debate the future direction of our country's economic governance. Government's quest to address the many challenges confronting the nation will see this meeting being packed with a number of businesses and activities. This is a working government, and looking at the agenda for this meeting, I can promise honorable colleagues that the House is going to get very busy as we have a number of public and private businesses to conduct. The following are the businesses that have been scheduled for the House to undertake during the meeting. 48 bills, including Cybersecurity Authority and Data Protection bills, 26 instruments to be presented, statements, motions, and as usual, presentation of papers and reports. More so, there will be a number of committee sittings to consider many referrals. There will also be a number of site visits and familiarization tours that will be undertaken by the various sector committees to ascertain the works that are being done by the various ministries, departments, and agencies across the country. Although most of these site visits and familiarization tours were undertaken during the recess, I envisage more to be undertaken during the meeting. All these activities help Parliament to undertake its legislative oversight, financial control, deliberative, and representational functions. I know that we will rise to the occasion and that this meeting is going to be productive and fruitful in service to the people and the nation as a whole. Mr. Speaker, the Black Stars of Ghana, which is the men's senior national team, is representing the nation at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, which starts from 11 June to 19 July 2026. As most of us know, this is the first time that the World Cup is being hosted by 3 different countries: the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. And we'll see matches being played across 16 different cities. I will therefore take this opportunity to wish the Black Stars of Ghana all the best in their competitions. They have the full support of this Honorable House, by extension the entire nation. We have hope and confidence in their ability to deliver, and we know they will make us proud once again. May they lift the flag of Ghana higher during the tournament. We have all been formally informed of the detention of our colleague, the Honorable Member for Asante Achim North, Kwame Ohene Frimpong, at the Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam by Dutch authorities acting on a request for extradition by the United States of America based on a federal court warrant regarding an indictment in the courts of the United States of America. I urge Ghanaians to be circumspect in their comments regarding this matter, as all accused persons are innocent until proven guilty. We must not do anything to compromise the legitimate defenses available to our colleague. At this juncture, I will admonish my honorable colleagues on the other side that no parliament can operate without cooperation and collaboration. We must therefore learn to work together, majority and minority alike, for national development, prosperity, and progress. May we never forget that beyond political parties, beyond ideology, and beyond electoral competition, we remain one people with one destiny. History will judge this night parliament not by the volume of our arguments, but by the quality of our contribution to national progress. Let me conclude by indicating to the Deputy Minority Leader that all the issues she has raised are legitimate matters for consideration by this House. I believe that this country is on the right path, promoting local ownership of the key sectors of our economy. The Diamond Mine Agreement will definitely be brought to this House, and every aspect of it will be open to public scrutiny. And I can assure you, and the former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources is here, I can assure you that you will see clearly that everything was above board. I urge all MPs to be punctual and attend sittings on time so that we can achieve the legislative program of this session. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for your kind indulgence.
Honourable members, you have heard from your leaders, the minority leader, through the voice of the deputy minority leader, has given you notice of their intention to dilate on a number of issues on the floor. This is clear advance notice. And so, as we give the welcome remarks, by our practice, we are permitted to do so, in spite of the fact that she took quite a long time. It's right for her to do so. The majority leader, as also leader of government business, has also given you an indication of the business that we are expected to transact, particularly public business. And so please, the call by him for members not only to be prompt, but to focus on the business of the House is a right call. As the head of the institution, I'll also have to warmly welcome you back to the second meeting of the second session of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. It's indeed my pleasure to see you all back, looking more than eager to share what you gathered and learned from your tours around the country and globally in furtherance of your legitimate parliamentary duties. I believe your interactions with your constituents and your colleagues all over the world have given you enough information and knowledge to be able to transact the business of the people in this House. I also trust that the recess afforded you the opportunity not just to only organize debates and rallies, talk shows and the rest, but also to have personal reconnection with your constituents and your colleagues all over the world. These are things that are meant to deepen the hope and commitment of our people to multi-party democracy, the best system that has been developed so far by humanity to govern itself. Honorable members, as we've been told, it's regrettable that one of the members of this House is alleged to be on the wrong side of the law. You've already been given the details. What I can add is that Parliament is working with government to ensure justice is done in this matter. I will in due course keep the House updated with developments in the matter. Meanwhile, permit me on your behalf to convey the empathy of the House to members of his family and his constituents for this unfortunate development, and to call on them to exercise restraint, for we are with them and we are doing everything to make sure that he is accorded all the due respect, dignity, and the opportunities available to all of us in international law. So please keep your cool and leave those who are involved. I'm happy that voluminous information has been given you as to the steps that have been taken by the Minister of Foreign Affairs together with our mission in Holland. Honorable members, is it important, very, very important, for us to always remind ourselves that we are here as servants of the people. And it is important to keep uppermost in our minds that the power and authority we exercise as members of Parliament are delegated. The power and authority emanate from Ghanaians who, as expressed in the Constitution and other laws, place their trust and hope in us. Our actions, words, and decisions must therefore reflect and inspire that trust and hope. The Ghanaians have made it clear in the Constitution that nobody, and I repeat, nobody is above the law. Not even the Ghanaians that we represent. They are not above the law. So we, the representatives, are therefore not above the law. no privilege or immunity supersedes the law. For purposes of emphasis, MPs are not immune from the law. Apart from this, after we are elected, we are all made to swear oaths to commit ourselves to the law, to the trust, and the interests of Ghana and Ghanaians above our personal or partisan interests. Please, let us recommit ourselves to these oaths, to, among other covenants that are contained in the oaths, and I want to quote this: faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of a member of parliament, unquote. I'm saying all this because Ghanaians are getting very disturbed about the wanton abuse of the trust. As the Speaker, I cannot be a complainant, a prosecutor, and a judge at the same time. My role and responsibilities are well cut out in the Constitution, the laws of Ghana, and the rules of the House. If I act otherwise, I'll be acting ultra vires. And the judiciary is there to call me to order. Please, I can't go beyond these appeals. You know the rules. I cannot take the decisions on the floor. You have to. I cannot participate in debate. I only have to guide you. This is not understood by our people, but you understand it very well. And so my role is not the role like that of the president, who is the head of the executive and has been specifically given the authority. The executive authority is enshrined in the president. It's not the same for the Speaker. My role is not that of the Chief Justice. No, it's a different role to preside over proceedings in the House. To be the person responsible for the administration of the parliamentary service. I have the ultimate responsibility of the administration of the parliamentary service. What happens on the floor here, I am only to preside and guide you according to the rules, the practice, the conventions of Parliament. I can't go beyond that. Please, sometimes I feel so frustrated, but there's nothing more I can do. I can only call on you as honorable members to let us end the title honorable. I learned early in life that a wise person does not need advice. I know you are all wise, so you don't need my advice. I leave it at that. Honorable members, the agenda for the meeting has already been communicated to you. We actually have a lot of public bills, but it's important I also draw your attention to a number of private bills pending in the House. Very, very key for the development of our democracy. The first is the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2025. This bill has been with Parliament since 2021. The Council of State has also submitted its advice to the House through me. I will process it for presentation to the House for reference to the appropriate committee for speedy consideration and report to the House. This is such a crucial bill that needs to be processed transparently to tap the collective wisdom of all stakeholders to ensure ownership and ease of implementation. You know, we did not complete this bill in the 8th Parliament, and as the 8th Parliament expired, it expired with all its business. And so these have to be reintroduced. And this is a private member's bill. So it has to go through the whole process, right up from the sponsors up to date. And the Constitution says we have to refer it to the Council of State. The earlier Council of State rendered its advice. This Council of State has also rendered its advice. And I have to bring that to the notice of the committee so that through the deliberation of the committee, we can do justice to the bill. I'll be compelled to give an opinion, which will also be referred to the committee, because this is a bipartisan bill, and all government policies, both the previous and the current government, are very supportive of the proposal. And so, honorable members, you have the support of both sides of the House, and I'll call on the committee, when it's referred to them, to expedite action in this matter. The second one is the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025. You are aware the bill also went through the same process in the 8th Parliament. It has again to be reintroduced to go through the same process. And so it's taking time because we have to abide by the law. We also have the Property Rights of Spouses Bill 2025. And this bill has come before this House many times. Rather from the time I was even chairman of the Committee of Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. But the challenges are real. And we have, in spite of the challenges, find solutions to those problems. We have before us, since 2022, the Parliamentary Transition Bill, which is now 2025. And that is a critical bill for the development of the institution of Parliament, particularly in transitioning from one parliament to the other. We passed law for the executive transition, but left that of Parliament. And you know the challenges we face when we are having a transition, especially in 2021, when you had to go to almost a stalemate and fisticuffs in trying to get me elected as the Speaker of this House. We don't want to experience these kind of bad precedents again. We have also the Parliament Bill 2025. There are a lot of important ingredients in that bill that will assist us to regulate particularly the conduct and behavior of members, trying to instill ethics and rule of decent behavior when you are elected into public office. That is not all. Your attention has been drawn by the majority leader to numerous bills that are to be presented to the House. I won't go through them again because they are already on record. What I can do now is to urge all committees and honorable members to approach these matters with diligence, seriousness, and a spirit of cooperation. But let me single out this bill because of the reaction of the public to it. I'm talking about the Property Rights of Spouses Bill. Its passage is important for promoting fairness and protecting family stability. However, because of its sensitivity, we have given exceptional attention to it to deepen consultations with all stakeholders to ensure inclusiveness, consensus building, and a smooth path to implementation. You know the cleavages. The Muslim community are very clear in their minds that the Holy Quran has spelled out in details as to these matters of spousal rights, property rights of spouses. Please, the word spouse comes from the Latin word sponsus, which means betrothed. And so when we have law, that gives opportunity to different groups to marry differently. And so you have the Mohammedan Marriage Act, and you also have that of the Christians, and you also have that of the traditional people. And now trying to talk about spousal property rights of spouses, you definitely meet challenges. It is not the failure of the Parliament of Ghana. It is a challenge for the country. And we have to meet each other halfway. So, blame should not be placed on Parliament of Ghana because we don't decree laws. We pass laws that are acceptable by our people. And so please, the activists, take these things into consideration in trying to lay blame on Parliament of Ghana. We are equally very concerned about